to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Wow, what a gorgeous afternoon in New Orleans and beyond. Incredible weather. Bring the show with you, but get outside already, huh? It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect right now outside. But first, Mr. Drew Brees. I honestly don't know how you beat this weather we got going right now. Absolutely gorgeous. It's beyond beautiful. It is gorgeous outside. Blue skies. 70 degrees, 70, 41% humidity. That's pretty low for these parts. Nice breeze blowing, 6-8 mile per hour breeze, or should I say knots? 6 to 8 knots. Anyway, a gorgeous day. And coupled with daylight savings time. We got daylight for another 3 hours, 3.5 hours. You could go knock out 18 holes of golf, knock out a few sets of tennis, drop a line in the water, do some hunting, gardening, cut the grass, landscaping, cut down that tree, do whatever you need to do. Don't cut down the tree. We don't have enough of them. Absolutely gorgeous day, daylight until 7:30. Kind of a bummer for the early morning risers like me. Not too early. I'm not like 4 a.m. But about 6:30, still dark. Still dark. But boy, it's going to be nice. It was nice yesterday. We got to experience it yesterday. I went and walked Tolly like it's 7 o'clock, sunny and nice. Or daylight still and nice yesterday. But today is absolutely perfect. If you are locked inside, get outside. Pretend you smoke cigarettes like your counterparts at work, taking those cigarette breaks all the time. Go knock out a smoke. Just don't light the thing up. Just say, I wanted to smoke the cigarette, but once I got outside, I decided against it. I had about 10 minutes to contemplate that and happen to take in this wonderful weather. No, it's so nice, and I love the extra hour. The days were growing already. It sucks in, October? We get that standard time and, dark at 5:25. It's sort of depressing. 5:30 dark. The days have grown, so we've got daylight till about 6:30 up until Saturday night, and then that, whatever, spring forward gimmick. We went from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. We lost an hour Sunday morning early, but I'll take it. I hope they just stick to this schedule all the time. That way we have daylight around here from from about 6:30 till 8:30 year round. The earliest the sun will ever drop out of the sky will be after 6 o'clock, like 6:30. And, mid to late June, we get that 8:35, 8:40 sun dropping out the sky for a few weeks there. No, just a gorgeous day. I don't mean to keep repeating myself. It's just incredible outside. Get out there, all right? The mayor could be enjoying this gorgeous day, but she's in D.C. where it's rather nippy. Let's see what the temperature is in D.C. I don't have D.C. readily available, but I got pretty darn close, Charlottesville, Virginia. 33 this morning, but 63 now. But 37 tomorrow, 42. We got lots of 70s. We might hit 80 later in the week. Might hit 80. That's a little early for that, especially with French Quarter Fest still a couple of half weeks away. Zurich Classic, Jazz Fest. You'd like the temperatures to be like this for those three events: French Quarter Fest, Zurich Classic, golf on the West Bank, the professional PGA Tour event that comes once a year, and the 2 weekends of Jazz Fest for sure. Yeah, the mayor, in spite of the council's ban, travels to D.C., some lame mayor's convention that does absolutely nothing for us, does not enhance New Orleans, does not bring money to New Orleans, does not bring a single job. No one leaves there thinking any differently about New Orleans. No one's impressed with the mayor. It's just a bunch of crap. It's a junket by definition. And in spite of the council's ban of non-essential travel, the mayor goes to D.C. She just flips the middle finger at the council, at the city of New Orleans, at the black and white citizens. The black and white citizens. I love folks that get off on this stuff. The 19 people that like LaToya Cantrell. The 19 people. It's crazy. Couldn't believe something I heard last week. I don't mean to digress. There is a talk radio host in this city that does talk radio like I do. Well, not like me. A lightweight, former FM disc jockey type that, hey, I'm going to do talk because I'm a radio person. It's like, I drive a car. Doesn't mean I'm a race car driver. Anyway, this person does talk radio and works for Susan Hudson's office, gets paid by taxpayers, works for the New Orleans Sheriff, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department, has a full-time job working with Susan Hudson, and does a talk radio program that gets pretty critical of some things. I mean, this is a lightweight person, a big-time lightweight. But we'll have on Susan Hudson on the show, or even the mayor, and lube up his head in a 55-gallon drum of Vaseline and insert his entire body up the rear end of these people. Just a total, butt kiss, and just softball pitch after softball pitch question. I mean, in baseball terms, it'd be like the ball looks like a garbage can lid. It ain't something flying by fast. You're cranking that one out the park. It's a joke. It's a friendly interview. It's friends. But then goes on the offensive against, the righteous people in New Orleans that are trying to do things right. The honest people. Now, this former disc jockey type is a deviant by nature, a full-blown lightweight by nature, and is so much one that works now full-time for the sheriff's department, yet still goes on the radio and does a talk program. Unbelievable hypocrisy. Unbelievable. Now, I'm sure this person will get the mayor on and think the D.C. trip was valid and worthwhile. J.P. Morrell is furious about the mayor ignoring the ban and traveling to D.C. Just dismay, concern, ignoring an ordinance. No, the mayor does not care. The mayor realizes her 15 minutes of fame, that thing is funneling down quickly. It's shrinking. And unlike other mayors from this city and other cities, you usually can get some kind of easy gig afterwards. You can usually get some kind of job. I shouldn't say easy job, a job afterwards where someone hires you because it's beneficial to that corporation. You bring something to that company, that entity, and you make more money for them than they pay you. The mayor doesn't have that luxury. She's not the brightest bulb. She's not stupid. She's just not any kind of special person or, sharp tool in the shed. She is painfully ordinary and worse, kind of, lazy and doesn't want to really put in the work. Likes the free ride, likes the limo rides, like the Suburban, likes the police driving her, likes acting like she's some, dignitary. So the mayor knows there's no job. The mayor knows there's no nonprofit. You remember she pulled $1 million out of the Wisner Fund and put it in this nonprofit. The mayor was planning on running a nonprofit for years, decades. One of those nonprofits where you bring in $300,000 a year and $295 goes to the mayor's salary. One of those nonprofits. No, that's not happening now. She screwed that up. No, and a federal indictment looms on the horizon. So the mayor's trying to get in every free meal, every free drink, every junket she can take advantage of because it's funneling down on her. The window's closing. The 15 minutes of fame are up really, really soon by the feds or end of her term. And I think it'll be the feds. Hey, speaking of the feds, 60 universities under investigation by the Trump administration, anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Tulane, New Orleans' own Tulane on that list. Audubon gutters on my house. When it rains, I don't worry. The big oak tree in front of my house, the leaves falling on the roof, I don't worry. I got Audubon gutters featuring the leaf guard system. New Orleans' own Audubon gutters. You need gutters for your home or business? It's a no-brainer. AudubonGutters.com. AudubonGutters.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you, trying to figure out if this went down today or not. The Ethics Review Board was supposed to meet and renew Ed Michel's contract for another 4 years, the Office of Inspector General, the IG, Ed Michel, who comes on this show every few months, who I think's doing fantastic work. I mean, I think you'd really have to be blind or have some kind of crazy agenda, honestly, to think he's not doing some incredible, important, fantastic work for the city. Seriously. It's like Raphael Goyeneche with the Metropolitan Crime Commission. We need these watchdog groups. Boy, do we need them. Desperately need them. Especially when they are apolitical. They don't have any agenda like, let's go after Republicans, let's go after Democrats, let's go after black, let's go after white. They don't have any agenda like that at all. I mean, their offices are ridiculously diverse. I mean, Ed Michel's office, it's like, where are the men and the non-minorities? Seriously. It's loaded with women and minorities. And they all do a ridiculously effective job, a really good job. That's what's key. They've been like that. You know, Raphael Goyeneche's been with the Metropolitan Crime Commission. It's been like that for decades. Just honest, apolitical, getting the job done, the watchdog. Ed Michel, he's like the originator of the IG's office here in New Orleans, Bob Sarasoli. And if you know just a little bit about that office, how important it is, Bob Sarasoli understood New Orleans, was an outsider. It was post-Katrina. A lot of the fiefdoms and people that would put up a fight were nowhere around to put up that fight. And these people, I'm not talking about putting up the righteous fight. The folks that were righteous, they were here. That were for or against stuff, they were here. I'm talking about the squeaky wheels that they want the inside deal, the city contract. They want their political friend appointed so they can get some kind of free job. Those types of folks. They weren't around. So Bob Sarasoli, this outsider, set the office up right. No political intervention. The budget is part of the city's budget. The council can't change it. The mayor can't change it. Bob Sarasoli didn't set up his office in City Hall or in an office building where folks could easily access it. He set it up in the federal building. You have to be vetted to go in that building. You can't just show up, knock on the door, and go, I got to go see Bob Sarasoli right now. It ain't happening. You want to meet him? Call him. Bob Sarasoli would meet folks in the lobby of the Pavilion Hotel because in his mind, there wasn't a whole lot of talking that he had to do with politicians. The only talking he had to do with them is when he was investigating, auditing, looking into them, and they were going to talk then on his terms. No, it was brilliant. It was set up great. I'll show you an example of an office that exists that's not set up so great. And it's nothing against Kim Chatelain. I think Kim Chatelain wants to be more of a pit bull, but she's restricted. The Jefferson Parish City Council puts her in a kennel at the end of the day. And then during the day, unlike Ed Michel, who's just off running around, she's on a leash. She's on a chain. She's hooked to a tree. She can't go so far. The budget can be affected. Her investigative, the limits of how much she can investigate can be restricted by the council. It already has been. Her powers can be diminished by the Jefferson Parish Council. It already has been. No, the inmates run the asylum in Jefferson. Even worse, on the North Shore, 250,000 folks in St. Tammany, maybe the most affluent parish in the state. Lots of money. Everybody's educated. No IG. A.G. Crow crashed that one. A.G. Crow and Slidell, the hack politician that gave you the Naturally Nolans Bridge, that dopey named bridge. He squashed the IG. He didn't want to be audited or investigated, have someone follow the money. Just trust me. I'm A.G. Crow. I'm a St. Tammany politician. A bunch of these politicians are that way. Most of them are New Orleans transplants. No, there's no inspector general's office in St. Tammany. That is sinful. So many public projects going on. Forget about criminal behavior and activity. It's not about that. It's a CPA type, scrutinizing public money being spent, making sure every public dollar is spent properly. And just about every IG anywhere in America, they find something that isn't spent quite as efficiently. Could have done this more effectively, didn't need to do that, could have done this, blah, blah, blah. And here's how you do it. And then it's accepted and the money is saved. This office, the IG in New Orleans, it has paid for itself 10 times over the last couple of decades, indefinitely. Millions saved annually when there's a real IG in place, like Bob Sarasoli, who set up the office, like Ed Michel. Now, Ed Cotreveau, I think, was a legitimate IG. I think Ed Cotreveau is a little long in the tooth, up in age, wasn't as aggressive, wasn't in the attack mode. Ed Cotreveau 10, 15 years earlier would have been perfect. But I think he came in, he got some things done, wasn't on the take, wasn't a political friend, just wasn't, it's a young man's game. And then this do-nothing Derry Harper guy that followed Ed Cotreveau was a friggin' joke, a total sellout, did nothing, laziest man on planet Earth, and worse, befriending all the local politicians. The office was like put in neutral, going backwards. Not being the watchdog we all needed to be, was not politically independent. And now Ed Michel is a grinder like Bob Sarasoli. My only concern about Ed Michel, and I'm serious, that he wears himself out like Bob Sarasoli does. This job is taxing. There's so much fraud and corruption and inefficiency and criminal behavior and all this. And yeah, it is about being a CPA and finding, where the money's not being spent right and making sure it's spent efficiently. But also, criminal behavior rears its ugly head in these parts, and then the IG will turn that over to the FBI or the federal attorney over at the Eastern District, whatever. No, this is New Orleans politics. My God. Anyone that is a worthy person, black, white, a Republican, Democrat, that has any little bit of ethics, integrity, and morals, and just the slightest bit of the political corruption that goes on in New Orleans and Louisiana, we all should embrace the office of Inspector General. And when you have an effective watchdog that's apolitical, that's a grinder like Ed Michel, should just embrace it. Embrace it. So going to find out if this ethics review board is worth their salt, if they did the right thing, the obvious thing, the no-brainer, and renewed Ed Michel's contract for 4 years. I'm hoping so. I'm glad he wants it because I was concerned. He's like, man, done enough, moving on. Going to go be the IG in Iowa where it's just easy. Some audits, hey, you guys spent $200 here. You could have spent 197, could have saved you $3, that kind of thing. Something easy. New Orleans is a grind. I've told Ed Michel this before, live on the program. Ed, if New Orleans wasn't like it was, maybe we wouldn't have a job. I'd be talking about, hey, we're going to go out to Metairie. Miss Brenda joins us. Miss Brenda, you had a cat caught in the tree. You had to call the fire department to get us down. Tell us about it. Well, Corey, little Tabby went up there and wouldn't come down for 4 hours. We were concerned, and the Jefferson Parish Fire Department came and they got him down. He's inside eating some tender victuals right now. That's fantastic. He's a tabby. That would be the show. Instead, it's New Orleans. We have a news cycle that's like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, like at 10% of the population. We've got crazy politics, the, Huey Long, Edwin Edwards type stuff, Bill Jefferson. Need I say more? Then you throw in just black and white and Republican, Democrat, just the dynamic of that. The state's kind of wacky right-wing evangelical, the city of New Orleans. You can't find a Republican in city government, a conservative. It's just like, it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Anyway, so no, always topics, a full show sheet every day. It's just a loaded show sheet every day. I mean, it just doesn't stop. Anyway, I'll find out something definitely before when we go off the air about the Ethics Review Board today, expecting to renew Ed Michel's contract for 4 years. But there are some naysayers. I was mentioning that FM disc jockey lightweight type that has the mayor on and the sheriff and kisses their rear end and doesn't like Rafael Goyeneche or Ed Michel. Wants to see them go away because this person, I worked with this person 30 years ago in radio, just a deviant by nature, can't help himself. Just how he's built. He'll never change. He's been this way his entire radio career. He used to be an FM DJ, would take cash from like local bands that no one wanted to listen to and play their music like at 4:30 in the middle of drive time because he took money trying to, put them on the map when they're not worthy of it, when no one would naturally program that music there. No one anywhere except those band members and that DJ with a handful of cash from the band. No, we used to call him Mr. Payola. That was his nickname behind his back, Mr. Payola, taking something of value and then going on the radio and hyping it. Unbelievable. Anyway, no, that deviant type against Rafael Goyeneche, against Ed Michel. So there were some people, I think Belden Baptiste, the part of that failure with Eileen Carter. I got suckered into having Eileen Carter on this show talking about the recall, acting like it's legitimate. For months had her on. And then the end result was disorganized joke. Where did $1 million go? And I think the only saving grace on the anti-Ed Michel stuff, like Belden Baptiste is in charge, those types of folks that don't have a whole lot of credibility.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, that ethics review board meeting is going on as we speak. Still time for you to get down there and speak for Ed Michel or against him if you want to. I don't know why you would. It's at the Loyola Law School, which is at 526 Pine Street. That is essentially St. Charles and Broadway. So Pine Street's what? One over, I believe. Isn't that right? Pine runs same way as Broadway, a block towards the River Bend, a block towards Metairie, Jefferson, that direction. Anyway, you can go to the Loyola Law School, essentially at St. Charles Avenue and Broadway in Uptown right now, especially if you're in that area. The meeting started about an hour ago, but they had, a few little things to go through. Ed Michel gets 15 minutes to speak, a maximum of 15 minutes. Public comments on his reappointment. Each public speaker gets 2 minutes. The chair can grant additional time. A person can't get up there and go, I'm giving my time to someone else. What's the last part? Yeah, I guess then they'll vote and there's an adjournment. Anyway, going on as we speak. The meeting scheduled to start at 3:30. I don't know if it started exactly on time. That would be about 70 minutes ago. And I don't know if Ed Michel has spoken yet. He gets a maximum of 15 minutes. And then there is a period of about 45 minutes maximum where I guess 22 people could speak for 2 minutes each. So you might get public comments from 22 people. We'll see how this thing goes. This is going to be very telling about the Ethics Review Board, if they're what they're supposed to be. Supposed to be strictly appointees from the universities. But then it turned into the mayor and more involved, and the universities put 3 appointees up, and the mayor picks one of the 3. So we'll see if this ethics review board is out for us. This is my opinion about Ed Michel, but boy, I've got a lot of facts to back it up. And I think a lot of you folks that pay attention to what he does do too. Just the increase in audits, investigations into city entities is tremendous, like hundreds and hundreds of percentages up from, previous, the Do Nothing Derry Harper was dramatic, but even Ed Michel year to year keeps increasing investigations, audits, averaging about one every 3 weeks. One every 3 weeks. Do Nothing Derry Harper might have produced one like every 3 years. I mean, it was a joke. So Ed Michel is scouring the city, and he's changing the mentality and, the investigation into potholes. This is what's great about it. Like, I'll give you an example. Edwin Edwards is a crook. Everyone agrees with that. But until you find the specific crime, then you realize, yes, he really is that much of a crook. This is it specifically. You go on from there. So we know we have a pothole problem in New Orleans. You bet. Ed Michel's office investigates 311. The average pothole to get fixed in the United States is like 7 to 14 days around the country. It takes in New Orleans 208 days to fix a pothole. Like, figuring all that out, not just, man, we have a pothole problem and we're not organized. No, he did all the work. 208 days. When you go in the morning, there's no plan and no rhyme or reason. Just they wing it every day. There's no, here's the potholes that have been, mentioned that they've been around the longest. Let's fix the ones that have been around the longest, the most severe, the ones that are in the high traffic areas, etc. Nothing like that. It's some politician calls or someone politically connected and goes, I got a pothole in front of my house. They go fix it. And they feel they're doing something because they fixed a pothole. That's one audit, one investigation. 311. I mean, you had what was the office that, I guess Public Works that refused to give the information? By law, if the Office of Inspector General requests information from a city public entity, from an elected official's office, they're required by law to turn over the information. This jerk sues the city, sues the IG's office, loses, sues again, loses. The IG spent $60,000 in taxpayer money going to court with this. How much did that idiot spend? And lost both times. Look at Susan Hudson, the sheriff, and the unnecessary Mardi Gras rooms. Susan Hudson, the sheriff, hiring that lady who was making $180,000 a year and her son making $120, and they didn't do anything. How about Kristen Morales, fired from the IG's office? This is Susan Hudson's roommate. They're friends, they're pals. Might be into a relationship. Who knows? They're definitely very good friends. They lived together. I don't give a crap if they're in a relationship or not. I'm just telling you that it's Susan Hudson's friend. She steals from the IG's office. The IG fires her. She sues and loses. She goes to the ethics board, loses. Susan Hudson scoops her up and hires her right away as deputy sheriff, earning more money than when she was with the IG's office. So the sheriff, a law enforcement official, hires her pal, her roommate, her friend, who got fired from the IG's office for theft. And every time she complained about it, even appealed it, she lost. She lost. Now, it's mind-blowing. Now, it's endless what this IG has done. And it saves the city millions of dollars annually. So no, this is going to be a good barometer of the Ethics Review Board. And are they doing the right thing or not? Are they doing the right thing or not? Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Thanks so much for joining us. Ethics Review Board meeting going on right now. 4 years. A renewal. This is going to be telling as can be. This guy's like a Raphael Goyeneche, one of the good guys for all of us. Period. End of story. No baggage, only results. 60 universities are under investigation by the Trump administration for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Tulane is on that list. anti-Semitic, anti-Israel protests during the Israel's counterattack on Hamas. No, it got out of control. The protesters laying down on the street in front of St. Charles Avenue. No, Tulane allowing it to happen. Not the protests all day long. Breaking the law, definitely verbally attacking Jewish students and some minor physical contact. You're probably going to have some Jewish student that got bumped or pushed that will sue for, assault and probably win. But 60 universities around the country under investigation by the Trump administration for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment, and Tulane is on that list. Boy, Ochsner Hospital is a behemoth. They employ tens of thousands of people statewide. I'm not against Ochsner at all, but I like that neighborhood around the hospital, and Ochsner has been aggressively growing. I mean, Deck Bar is no longer residential. Deck Bar from River Road to Jefferson Highway is no longer a residential street. All those houses torn down like in a week. All of them purchased and torn down. That apartment complex on the Kenner side of Deck Bar, I'm assuming that's next. It looks like it's pseudo-abandoned. In the middle of the parking lot, there's a big, like trailers, double-wide trailers set up for like construction crews, the foreman and the like. So I think that apartment complex is going down. All I can say is I am for Ochsner's expansion. I'm also for that neighborhood and their concerns. Like I see that gigantic oak tree right there on Deck Bar. That oak tree must be 300 years old, minimum. It's as big as a Volkswagen Bug in circumference. It's something you'd see in City Park. 300 years old might be not old enough. That oak tree probably outdates any real civilized human inhabitants outside of Native American Indians in these parts. No, I don't want to see any damage to those oak trees. And then I also go, thank God for Rio Vista, that street, especially the part in between Jefferson Highway and River Road that is oak tree lined. Like, I think that's a strong street with strong people that love their street and love their neighborhood and love the convenience of it. And they're not giving it up. They're not giving it up to Ochsner. So, I don't think they should. I think Jefferson Parish should have an ordinance where, Lake Villa remains Lake Villa. Ochsner cannot take that street over. Other side of it, they're already there. They're growing their campus on each side of Lake Villa. That's fine. That's fine. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you can be both things. It's where you compromise. You reach an agreement. I'm pro neighborhood. I like that neighborhood. I like that area. I like Old Jefferson. It's on the rebound. And I want to see Ochsner grow and continue to employ tens of thousands of people. A gorgeous Monday afternoon. Get outside, enjoy it. Just bring the show with you.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
What an unbelievably gorgeous day in New Orleans. Does not get much better than this anywhere. 70 degrees, 41% humidity. And daylight savings time. It's going to be daylight for another 2.5 hours till about 7:30. How nice is that? You got like 2 hours and 45 minutes to get outside and do something. You can knock out a lot. Hunting, fishing, gardening, golf, tennis. Get outside, enjoy this weather. Did I mention sunny? 70 degrees, 41% humidity. Oh, and a little breeze, about 6 to 8 miles an hour. Just perfect. And daylight savings time. Kaboom goes the dynamite. Ethics Review Board meeting since 3:30. Ed Michel, other public speakers. It's to renew Ed Michel's contract for 4 more years, the Office of Inspector General. This is going to be telling. This should be a no-brainer for the Ethics Review Board. Ed Michel is a monster in a good way, a tenacious pit bull working for us, black, white, Democrat, Republican, working for all of us, the righteous people in New Orleans. And you know who you are. You know. Hardworking, paycheck to paycheck. Don't have any free city contract. You actually go to work. You earn your money. Us. No, Ed Michel, like Raphael Goyeneche, a watchdog looking out for us in this politically corrupt cesspool of a city we live in. And state. and state. So no, the OIG in New Orleans, that office is needed. A tenacious pit bull inspector general like Ed Michel is needed, and the ethics review board. This should be the simplest renewal, a no-brainer, 4-year renewal. But there are some powers, I shouldn't say powers that be, some people that are squeaky wheels like Belden Baptiste. Belden Baptiste and Eileen Carter were the ones that were trying to recall the mayor. And I got suckered into it. I'm having Eileen Carter on the show like once a week, once every other week, taking her seriously, like she's legitimate. And then when the thing fails, we saw how far they were from reality. Just insane, not even close. And it was $1 million spent. Where did all that money go? Belden Baptiste, Eileen Carter. So Belden Baptiste, and with the help of his FM disc jockey buddy pretending to be a talk radio host on one of the local stations. And by the way, this lightweight former FM DJ pretending to be a talk radio host on a station who bashes Ed Michel, Raphael Goyeneche, has the mayor on, the sheriff, and always kisses their rear end. Here's the kicker. That lightweight former FM DJ who now pretends to do talk radio has a full-time job receiving a paycheck from Susan Hudson at the sheriff's office. I mean, talk about mind-blowing. And is going to come on the radio and have her on and praise her, have the mayor on and praise her, and then bash Raphael Goyeneche and Ed Michel. Never gets them on the show. They're readily available. I can't get the sheriff or the mayor on. They refuse to even acknowledge me, much less come on. They go on this guy's show because they know it's going to be a butt kissing. He's on their side. Hell, he's on Susan Hudson's payroll. What's he going to tell her? He's going to legitimately criticize her when he's receiving a check. I mean, this is the worst kind of hypocrisy. This is kindergarten journalism 101. There's a responsibility when you got a mic and a camera in front of you. Some people don't see it that way. But this guy, I worked with him 30 plus years ago in radio. FM DJ used to take money from these worthless bands in town and play their music like in drive time. Take, thousands of dollars. We used to call this guy Mr. Payola, taking something of value and then hyping the product on the radio. No, he's got a bad reputation, taking advertisers' checks written to the radio station and then opening an account with similar, either the call letters of the station or something else so he can keep the money and deposit the money. No, just a deviant. So deviants wouldn't like Ed Michel. A deviant wouldn't like Raphael Goyeneche. Righteous people with ethics, integrity, and morals, and no baggage, no skeletons in the closet, no deviant behavior. The opposite. Going to bat for us, the righteous citizens of New Orleans, black, white, old, young, Republican, Democrat. It doesn't matter. No, this is going to be very telling. This guy's been kicking butt and taking names. What's the ethics review board going to do? It should be a no-brainer. The mayor, in spite of the council's ban, travels to D.C., non-essential travel. J.P. Morrell says, ignoring an ordinance. Dismay, concern. No, the mayor literally flipping off the council, the city, and the citizens. Just does not care. 60 universities under investigation by the Trump administration for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Tulane's on the list. The video I saw of some of these students, the way they were yelling things at some of the Jewish students, the way they were blocking the Jewish students from getting in and out of the dorm or the area of the campus they wanted to go in, I think there's some legitimacy to this. Ochsner's expansion, it's prolific, man. I am for Ochsner expanding, and I'm for the neighborhood's concerns. Got to keep that oak tree that's hundreds of years old right off River Road. Rio Vista Street with the oak trees should never be touched, should remain a residential street. Should never be touched. Spirit Airlines announcing 2 times a week to Honduras. Yeah, you're right. We'll talk to Michael on Friday about that. New Los Angeles DA says no resentencing for the Menendez brothers. No resentencing for them. X, Twitter, down. Elon Muscatel says a cyber attack on his platform 5 o'clock powwow coming your way next on this absolutely gorgeous day. This is when you knock out the paint project. Boy, the next week and a half, we got fantastic weather. Get to Helm. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. 4 locations in Metro Baton Rouge. Painting experts, Benjamin Moore, high quality paint. Do it once and never do it again. Paint your home once and never have to paint it again. Lifetime paint. They'll steer you in the right direction when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge. Helm Paint and Decorating. 5 o'clock powwow now.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Yep. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Want to stay somewhere special when visiting New Orleans? Look no further than the Grand Victorian. Located in the Garden District on the St. Charles Avenue streetcar line, the Grand Victorian is ideally placed for visiting the city's local attractions, fabulous restaurants, shops, and more. Make your stay in New Orleans something to remember. To find out more about the Grand Victorian or to book, go to gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Oh, yeah, you're right. 5 o'clock power hour on an absolutely gorgeous Monday afternoon in New Orleans. I've got a solution to your Monday blues. Well, maybe not a solution, but something that might perk you up. Besides this gorgeous weather where, I don't know, I'm guessing it's dipped into the 60s by now, because it was 70 when we started. I said that already, Mr. Drew Brees. It is New Orleans. No, still hanging at 70. 70 degrees, sunny skies, 41% humidity. But here's the kicker. It's daylight savings time. We get that extra hour. We roll till about 7:30, like another 2.5 hours of sunshine. A little after 5 o'clock. I mean, in October, it's dusky right now. We're about 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away from the sun dropping out the sky, going back to October. But the day grew to what? Till about 6:30 up until Saturday. And now we got that extra hour. We leaped forward from 2 a.m. Sunday morning to 3 a.m., lost that hour. And in the morning, if you're an early riser, the sun ain't coming up till about 7 now. Before it was about 6. But the sun now setting around 7:30 instead of 6:30. Cha-ching! 2.5 hours, basically. A good 2+ hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes of sunlight left today. So enjoy the sunny 70 degrees, slight breeze, and daylight for a few more hours. Yeah, you right. Love it. Ethics Review Board had their meeting is scheduled to start around 3:30. Don't know if it started on time. This meeting should be a simple no-brainer. Renewing Inspector General Ed Michel's contract for another 4 years, just the renewal. He's earned it. He's earned it. This guy is an apolitical watchdog that audits and investigates city entities in New Orleans. At the very least, this CPA type goes in and scrutinizes how taxpayer money's being spent in different, offices within city government. And then 9 out of 10 times, it's rare where he's going, man, everything's pretty tight and it's very well run. There's always a suggestion. You guys could do this better. You could do this more efficiently, this more effectively. Then sometimes there's just like a lot of waste and abuse. And then there's fraud. There's criminal behavior. This is New Orleans. This is New Orleans city government. Think about the Sewage and Water Board before Ghassan Corbin came along. When it rained really bad, the city flooded. So we physically saw the results from a poorly run city entity. All these other ones, they're just hiding behind the scenes. We don't know unless Ed Michel or Rafael Goyeneche with the Metropolitan Crime Commission, we find out something. And an investigation takes place and we learn. Like about around America takes 10, 12, 15 days to fix a pothole on average. In New Orleans, it's 208 days. And then digging deeper, it's because they don't have any organization. There's not like, it's Monday. Here's the streets we're covering. Here's the priority. Here, let's go. They wing it every day. No rhyme or reason. Very unorganized, very inefficient, very ineffective. Sheriff's office with the unused hotel rooms during Mardi Gras, paying some woman she's friends with 180 grand, paying the son 120. They did nothing, had to let him go. Kristen Morales gets fired from the IG's office for theft. She appeals, it loses, appeals, it loses, goes to court, loses. While all that's going on, she's got a gig that pays her more with the city. It's nice to be Kristen Morales. You just get city checks all the time. Her pal, Susan Hudson, the sheriff, they were roommates. They were friends. They might have been in a relationship. Who knows? I don't care about that. All I care about is their friends, their roommates. She hires her pal who got fired from the Office of Inspector General for theft. So the IG is just like Rafael Goyeneche, apolitical, doesn't care about black, white, Republican, Democrat. Look at his office. If you're like a white male, you're like, Ed, where are the white males in your office? It's a lot of women. It's a lot of minorities in high up positions, but they all earned it and they do a great job. I'm not against that. I'm just saying folks that think he discriminates, or it's laughable. And the people complaining, they're criminals. I mean, you had one guy, couldn't handle the job. Ed Michel lets him go. A few days later, he wants the job back. Ed Michel says no. He goes to the ethics board. Even the ethics board's like, you resigned. You're not getting the job back. He sues and loses and then starts coming up with all kind of complaints. Not the most credible source. So this is a telling day. The Ethics Review Board, we get to see what they're all about. Ed Michel, a 4-year renewal for his contract should be a no-brainer. One of the bright lights in the city of New Orleans. This pit bull that is tenacious, that understands what we all know, black, white, Republican, Democrat. The city is politically corrupt. There's a lot of morally deficient characters, either elected, appointed, anointed, or have city contracts. You want a tenacious pit bull that has integrity, honesty, ethics, looking into this. You don't want the last IG, do nothing, Derry Harper. That guy was a joke. Politically connected, a hack. There'll be some important people, I'm sure, speaking in favor of Ed Michel. And then there's going to be like Noonie Man, Baptiste, and some other characters he digs up that are going to be speaking against Ed Michel. Now, what's funny is, I take this mic and camera seriously. I think there's a responsibility involved in this, doing what I do. You have to be prepared. You have to know what you're talking about. Don't discuss things you don't know what you're talking about. And I try to be fair and objective, just my nature. I'm a registered independent. Just how I'm not perfect. I'm not better than you. If you're a Republican or Democrat, that's fine. Just my MO. Ethics, integrity, morals, that standard, that's very important to me. The opposite of being a deviant. No, there's a deviant former FM disc jockey that pretends to do talk radio now, doesn't prepare, uninformed, and then just lashes out at the good stuff in New Orleans, like Rafael Goyeneche or Ed Michel, and then inserts rear end, sticks entire body in 55-gallon drum of Vaseline, and inserts entire head, shoulders, body up the rear end of the mayor and the sheriff. has them on his show and kisses their rear end. Just softball question. It's like brother and sister, mother, daughter, mother, son. It's pathetic. It's an embarrassment. Now this joker who praises the mayor, praises the sheriff, bashes Raphael Goyeneche, bashes Ed Michel, who has a history of deviant behavior in radio his entire life. This joker works for the sheriff's department full time and does a talk radio program. Gets a check from Susan Hudson working in the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department full time. And then on the side does this like radio gig and praises the sheriff and rips anyone that's attacking the sheriff. I mean, just sinful behavior. Shame on the radio station, the owners, for allowing this guy to go on the air and have a job at the sheriff's department. How about disclaiming that? You read something in the Advocate or, hey, John George's is a part owner of that company or something. They'll disclaim it. Ownership of the paper as a, interest in this. This guy works for the sheriff's department, receives a taxpayer finance check as a New Orleans Parish Sheriff's Department employee, does talk radio, praises the sheriff and mayor, and bashes anyone that bashes them. It's hysterical. The hypocrisy is crazy. No, thank God those are the character types like Belden Batiste going against Ed Michel. I don't know what's going on with the Ethics Review Board right now, but this thing should go through as a no-brainer, no problem. Smooth sailing. We'll see. Hopefully we'll have an answer before we go off the air at 6:00. Corey Johnson with you. Bring the show with you, but get outside already. We got daylight for more than another 2 hours, and it is a gorgeous day in Metro New Orleans. Coming right back.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on this absolutely gorgeous Monday afternoon. 70 degrees, 41% humidity. Daylight savings time going on. We got daylight till about 7:30, like more than 2 more hours of daylight. I'm fired up getting out of here at 6 and it's not dark. I'm fired getting out of here at 6 and I get to go home and walk Tolly, my Australian shepherd, and take my time and enjoy this blue sky and the breeze and comfortable temperatures. Are you kidding me? It's why we live down here. I mean, is it the architecture and the history and the people and the food and the music and the culture? You bet it is. You bet it's those things. Love all of that about New Orleans. I say those things quickly, and if you think about other places, history, architecture, music, food, culture, the people, most places don't have that. Most places don't have that. Houston, Atlanta, Dallas, Nashville, Charlotte, Austin. Where's the history? Where's the architecture? Where's the music? Where's the unique food? Where's the culture? Where's the people? They're physically there. No, it's what makes New Orleans great. The weather, too. The weather. Now, 95 degrees, 95% humidity, scorching sun, July 15th. That can be pretty brutal. But you can still go outside. You just sweat through your clothes. Up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, there ain't no going outside right now unless you got to put the snow blower down and clear the driveway so you can get the car out of the garage. I mean, no, whether it rains on the I-10 corridor from Houston to Jacksonville, it's the wettest area in America. We live in the wettest area in America. But, even that, we get it quick. It's one and done. I'll give you an example. Seattle. We get 50% more rain than Seattle annually. 50% more rain. They get about 40 inches a year. We get like north of 60. We have 60 more days of sunshine. 2 more months of sunshine, days like this, that Seattle just doesn't get as many. We have 60 more days of sunshine than Seattle with 50% more rain. No, we get a deluge and then the sun comes out. I'd prefer that than just a misty, trickling rain for a week straight. That's depressing. Hey, every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Home of Lamarck Ford for over 45 years. Home of the #1 Lincoln dealership. Over $50 million invested in the Lamarck Automotive Complex in the last 5 years. You think Ronnie would say, hey, let's call it a day. I'm set with that. Nope, it's Ronnie. It's Ronnie Jr. They went and scooped up the legendary Ford truck dealership in town, Crescent City Ford, doing it for over 80 years. You need a commercial truck, van, SUV? Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra and the Lamarck Crescent City Ford Complex on Jefferson Highway in Elmwood. Ethics Review Board as we speak, listening to Ed Michel, listening to the public for or against Ed Michel as the Inspector General, City of New Orleans. This should be a no-brainer. The quality of work, the amount of work, the success of the work, the difference-making of the work speaks for itself. The sheer volume of effective work out of this office speaks for itself. The Ethics Review Board, it should be a simple no-brainer. A 4-year renewal for Ed Michel. You know the biggest concern for New Orleanians? Is Ed Michel going to be able to hang on that full 4 years? Because he works his tail off. I was concerned that he would have done a 4-year stint and left because he was the interim guy for about a year too. So it's like 5 years as IG. And it is a grind. This guy busts his tail. He earns every penny he makes, and he's making a difference. He's a warrior and apolitical. Just goes where the fraud, waste, and abuse is. He doesn't care if you're black, white, or Republican or Democrat. Should be a no-brainer for the Ethics Review Board. Effective leadership that is desperately needed in a politically corrupt city like New Orleans. Hopefully Ed Michel gets a 4-year renewal. The mayor, in spite of the council's ban, non-essential travel, travels to D.C., some worthless mayor's convention. Could have done it by Zoom call like a lot of mayors do. This doesn't benefit the city or any citizen, doesn't bring a single dollar or a single job to the city. The mayor benefits. She gets to go on another vacation. Her window is shrinking. Her 15 minutes of fame's coming to an end. Less than a year left in her term, but before that happens, the feds are going to nab her, are going to indict her. There is no golden parachute after the job. There is no job waiting for her. There is no nonprofit to run. She wrecked that. No, the mayor gets everything she deserves. She is belligerent. She doesn't give a crap. She flips off the city of New Orleans, the council, the citizens, black and white. Black and white. I would argue the black citizens more than the white citizens in New Orleans because she uses race so often. And then in situations like this, when the council bans her from travel, a majority black council, she just says, the hell with it. I'm going to D.C. anyway. No, people like this, like the 19 people that like this mayor like this. No, there are other politicians like that, that their fans, their people in their corner, the ones that love that politician, they get off on other people freaking out about the politician. Like the 19 people that love the mayor, they love that people are freaking out that she goes on these junkets. They get off on that. Just something, I think, morally, ethically wrong with those people. They lack any kind of, morality, any kind of honor or pride. It's like, why don't we look at what's going on? And it's not good. You wouldn't want your daughter to grow up and be like this. You wouldn't want your son to marry someone like this. You call it what it is. Don't get off on people being critical of it. I think the people being critical of it, most of them, some may have a political agenda. Most are, it's about right and wrong. 60 universities under investigation by the Trump administration for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. Tulane's on that list. Anti-Semitic, anti-Israel protests during the Israel counterattack on Hamas. I have nothing against the protests. I have the protesters yelling, harmful anti-Semitic names and words at the Jewish student population and even restricting them from coming on campus, going to the dorm, going to class, like blocking their route. Some of these kids, 18, 19, 20, Some are mature and, go-getters and confident. Some are learning all that, just becoming an adult, maybe a little meek, a little scared, trying to figure it all out. And, some illegal protests blocking them from campus. That's no good. So, no, I think there's some legitimacy to this anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment that the Trump administration is investigating at these 60 universities, including Tulane. Boy, Ochsner expanding big time on River Road on Jefferson Highway. I'm all for it. And I'm also for the neighborhood in Old Jefferson that surrounds that hospital. I mean, Deck Bar is done. Deck Bar between River Road and Jefferson Highway is no longer a residential street. Every house has been torn down. They keep expanding towards Kenner. There's some major oak trees. One, I'd say 300-400 years old right there off River Road by Deck Bar. Check it out when you drive by. It's as big as like a Volkswagen Bug. Take like 5 people holding hands to surround it. It's, I guarantee you, at least 300 years old. That tree has to be fully protected. I'm all for Ochsner expanding, but I'm also for the neighborhood. And I say thank God for Rio Vista in between River Road and Jefferson Highway and all the oak trees lining that street and the proud owners of those homes that love that street. The Jefferson Parish Council should make that street off limits to Ochsner. Like, always will remain residential. Block it off now. Ochsner, grow on the other side. You're already doing that. Grow on the existing side. You're doing that. You got both sides of Rio Vista surrounded. Let that street be. Because, boy, they came through in the last 3 to 5 years and took out 2 streets and about 50 houses. Just like that. Just like that. And I'm all for Ochsner expanding. But I'm pro-neighborhood, too. Those people have to be listened to. Spirit Airlines, 2 times a week, nonstop to Honduras. Another international flight out of Louis Armstrong. Yeah, you're right. Makes sense. We have the largest Honduran population outside of Honduras here in Metro New Orleans. About 100,000 strong. About 1 of every dozen people in the metro area. 1 in every dozen in Metro New Orleans is a Latino. 1 in 12. Most are Honduran. Makes sense. We'll talk with Michael Hecht on Friday from Greater New Orleans Inc. about that. X, Twitter, is down. Elon Muscatel, did you know that's his full name, Muscatel? Says a cyber attack hit his platform. New Los Angeles District Attorney says no resentencing for the Menendez brothers. They stay put in the slammer. We'll see what happens there. I'm sure there's going to be some type of an appeal. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Brett Martell from the AP joins us next.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint. Supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King. Hey, New Orleans, if you've ever wanted to experience life on St. Charles Avenue, now is your chance. The Grand Victorian, the ultimate bed and breakfast in the Garden District on the streetcar line. Built in 1893, this magnificent house will make your special weekend getaway special. To find out more, go to gvbb.com. That's gvbb.com. The Grand Victorian, where the locals go to get away.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you're right. Big win for us, the righteous citizens of New Orleans. Black, white, Latino, Asian, Republican, Democrat, rich, poor. If you love New Orleans and you know, unless you've been living under a rock, about the political corruption, you want a strong office of Inspector General, independent, autonomous. And that's what we've got with Ed Michel. My biggest concern was 2 things. One, he's going to burn out and resign, retire, like Bob Sarasoli, who was an excellent IG, but, it beat him up. And then the second concern was this meeting with the Ethics Review Board this afternoon. Would they do the no-brainer and renew his contract for 4 more years? A hearing was held earlier this afternoon by the Ethics Review Board to decide whether to extend Ed Michel's contract. The Ethics Review Board voted unanimously to keep Michel as the New Orleans Inspector General. 4 more years of Ed Michel as the Inspector General, City of New Orleans. Thank God. Thank God that politics did not come into play. Seriously. It could have easily, we've seen it too many times, rear its ugly head. I was concerned. Now, I also said, thank goodness that Belden Baptiste is one of the people behind it. A lot of the naysayers, the people against Ed Michel, don't have a very good reputation, don't have a lot of traction in the community. Some, it's the opposite. I mentioned this former FM disc jockey that does talk radio that works for Sheriff Susan Hudson full-time, gets a check from the city taxpayers, praises the sheriff, praises the mayor, bashes Ed Michel, bashes Raphael Goyeneche. No, because this guy's a deviant. 30 years in radio, doing talk, secretly working for the sheriff's department, basically working for her on-air, off-air. It's embarrassing. No ethics, no integrity, no morals. But this guy's always been this way. 30 years ago when I got into talk radio, he was an FM disc jockey. We worked for the same company. His nickname was Mr. Payola because he used to take money from these local bands and put their lousy music on like at drive time. He was like the program director. And everybody knew he was taking cash on the side illegally. This guy has a reputation for taking radio stations' checks, signing them and putting them into an account with similar call letters or frequency. So he would cash a check from an advertiser to the station. No, this guy's been a deviant his entire life. This is like a 30-year period. Can't help himself. Now he ignores the responsibility of the mic and the camera in front of you and goes on the radio as a talk show host and pretends to be like he's legit. Now, the FM DJ lightweight stuff, that's my opinion. I think you'd agree. But working for the sheriff's department, taxpayer-financed gig, full-time, and you go on and act like talk radio is your job and you praise the sheriff and the mayor and you bash anyone that goes on the attack on the sheriff or the mayor? No, it's just... forget about sinful, just unethical, immoral, no honor, no pride, no understanding of just basic integrity, how this microphone camera thing works. It's mind-blowing. No, so he was one of the dopes, along with Belden Baptiste, who was with Eileen Carter with that totally failed recall. I got suckered in. I had Eileen Carter on the show like every 2 weeks. It was embarrassing afterwards. I was like, I got suckered in. They were unorganized. Everything they said was BS. They didn't know what they were doing. No, he was part of that. So he doesn't have a lot of credibility. So thank goodness the people against the IG are a bunch of slackers, a bunch of hacks. Not a single person with any credibility. So it didn't gain traction, but I was nervous because it's New Orleans and we've seen deviant, crappy behavior, in the past. No, this is fantastic. Great news. The Ethics Review Board voted unanimously to keep Ed Michel as the New Orleans Inspector General. Another 4-year term. That's huge for us. People that care about taxpayer money. People that care about our elected officials doing the right thing. You don't have to accept this. Hey, it's New Orleans, it's Louisiana. We're always going to have the Edwin Edwards, the Mark Morials, the Bill Jeffersons, the Hilarios. We're always going to have that. No, we don't. We don't always have to have that. We don't have to accept that. And you folks that live vicariously through the crooked politicians, get a life. Get a life. The politicians work for us. That's not like some unrealistic standard. It's just how it works in most places. Most places, they're not on some power trip or trying to set up friends and family. It's a sacrifice. They're probably losing money from their real job to do this civic duty. I know when I ran for council at large, that was my MO. I remember 3 things, like you get a cell phone. It's like I own my own cell phone. I don't need a city cell phone. You get a Suburban and a policeman to drive you around. I have my own car and I'll drive myself. I'm a council person. I don't need a policeman. So if those things couldn't have just been, not used and the money used somewhere else, I was going to give the cell phone to like some entity in the city that could use it and make money for the city. The policeman, I'd be like, go walk the beat. Instead of the 8 hours you're going to spend with me, go cover Chef Highway, go cover Central City. I don't know what to tell you. And then as far as the Suburban, give it to some city entity that can use it. Or how about get rid of the big Suburban and get like 3 or 4 other vehicles in its place? So no, that was my mentality. I'm a councilman. B, I don't need a policeman driving me around. C, I don't need a Suburban. And D, I don't need a cell phone. I have my own car. I can drive myself, and I have my own cell phone. I'll pay all those bills myself. Don't need police protection. I'm a friggin' city councilman. No, it's a joke. So I didn't know how this was going to go, but thank God the deviants lost and the righteous people won. And Ed Michel's contract renewed unanimously. That's huge. That's big. That's big. Thank goodness. Now, I'm sure we'll find out by tomorrow. I'll let you know, but I guarantee you some folks got wind of the opposite side, these deviants that were going to go in there and throw some cat poop in the punch bowl and wreck this, just what should have been routine renewal. So I'm guarantee you some powers that be, some influential New Orleanians that are universally respected, black, white, Republican, Democrat, went and spoke in Ed Michel's behalf. Love it. Unanimous. Good job, Ethics Review Board. We were putting you on notice when we started the show. It's going to be very telling. You did the right thing. Excellent. I may have to head to the grocery and grab a slab to celebrate. Maybe a New York strip. Maybe make some shish kebab. Gorgeous day, 70 degrees, 41% humidity. I'm dropping coals tonight, I think. Plus, it's daylight until 7:30. Daylight savings time kicked in late Saturday night or early Sunday morning. We lost that hour. Yeah, light until 7:30. Another hour and 45 minutes of daylight. Get outside and do something in that. The mayor, in spite of the council's travel ban, travels to D.C. anyway. J.P. Morrell miffed, so is the council, ignoring an ordinance. No, the mayor basically flipped off the council, flipped off the city, flipped off the citizens of the city, black and white. You black folks that don't think she's flipping you off, you're delusional. One could argue she's flipping off the